makes it a little harder for Canelo. I think Canelo has some type of trouble with southpaws. When I watched him fight John Ryder.
Yep.
John Ryder, and John Ryder wasn't that good. It's just Canelo was fighting against the southpaw, and it made it a little bit harder than usual. But
does Crawford have to be worried about more things than just boxing? Absolutely. Let's go. I didn't say he has to do any accusing, nor we would do that, but I'm saying is
he's also showed that he could go up in weight class, and he's a great fighter. I mean, that's it. Crawford is so talented. He's got so much ability in boxing, his boxing ability. And he's a bigger guy too. He's almost every bit as big as Canelo, right?
He's huge. That's the first thing fans are saying after seeing the latest photos and clips of Terence "Bud" Crawford in training camp ahead of his highly anticipated super fight against Canelo Alvarez. The undefeated American star looks very different in size now. He no longer has the slim, toned body that fans are used to seeing at welterweight. Instead, Crawford now looks much bigger and stronger, but still very fit. His abs are still showing, and his upper body looks a lot more muscular. It's clear that he has put in a lot of hard work to change his body for this huge fight, taking his training and transformation very seriously. Training footage shows him grinding hard, punching with extra weight behind his shots, doing strength work, and pushing himself more than ever before. This is clearly not just a jump in weight, it's a whole new version of Bud. For someone who has moved up 2 full weight classes, fans expected he'd fill out, but few thought he'd look this strong, especially while keeping his speed and sharpness in training. The super fight between Crawford and Alvarez has quickly become one of the most talked about matchups in boxing, with Crawford holding an undefeated record of 41-0 with 31 knockouts, and Canelo coming in at 63 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. The buzz around this bout is massive. Many boxing insiders are calling this the biggest fight in the sport right now. According to Crawford, this is the only fight that truly made sense at this point in his career. While others suggested he fight someone at 154 pounds first, Crawford wasn't interested. He wanted a real challenge, and taking on a legend like Canelo at 168 pounds is exactly that.
And I think it's a great matchup. You know, Canelo comes from a smaller weight just like myself. I think, you know, he's been winning off of pure skill and power, like, you know, myself. And I just think we match up well together.
You know, the crazy part about it is Canelo been in the super middleweight division since 2018. That was the year, well, I think the year before that, you relinquished your titles when you became undisputed at 140 in 2017. The following year, 2018, you beat Jeff Horn for the WBO title. That same year, Canelo was in the super middleweight division. He's been there for 7 years. What makes you feel like that you the one that's gonna be there, go up there, beat this guy at a weight that he's been acclimated at fighting in? He's been fighting bigger guys, beating some bigger guys, lost to Floyd, lost to Dimitri Bivol, but yet and still, you know, he has stand power in that division. What makes you think you can be the one to go up there and do that?
I just feel like I believe in my skills and my ability to adapt to any fighter. You know, just like he was able and successful in beating bigger guys, I look at myself as the same. You know, I can go up and do the same. You know, a lot of people, you know, they write me off. They say, oh, well, there's never been a smaller guy beat a bigger guy that was both great in a weight class.
Yeah, the big guy, the big guy, the skilled
the
guy,
big,
always
great
beat
guy.
the smaller skilled guy. Yeah.
So I'm just ready to prove everybody wrong.
In a recent interview, Crawford explained that getting Turki Al-Sheikh on board to back the fight came down to him being serious and determined. He didn't want to waste time with names that wouldn't elevate his legacy. Going up to super middleweight and facing one of the biggest stars in the game was the only move he believed was worth it.
Well, like I said, Canelo is the last fighter in our generation that's a Hall of Famer, you know, that got the biggest name in the sport. So, you know, I chose to go up and weight and to actually try to conquer him from, you know, all his achievements in the division. So why not?
Still, not everyone sees this as a favoring matchup for Crawford. One of the few people who has experience sparring with Canelo is Chris Algieri. He offered a unique point of view, admitting there's a reason boxing has weight classes. Chris believes it takes guts for Crawford to even consider this fight, especially given the size and power difference. At the same time, he went on to provide insights on what he saw as exceptional abilities in Canelo. He pointed out that Canelo, with a balanced shape and a solid game plan, can prove to be a tough challenge for Crawford.
Is absolutely true. And it's not so much about hurting him, but he said a key point, hitting him with a shot he doesn't see. Canelo's awareness is very, very good. He's hard to hit with punches he doesn't see, especially with the style that he employs. That high guard, you see everything coming when you're like that. And he's got very good hand position. I was very surprised sparring with him, how good his hand position was, his hand discipline, and his ability to pick shots off and move and catch and be smooth. So he's a very difficult guy to hit with punches that he doesn't see, which makes him a very difficult guy to hurt. He obviously has a very good chin. But yes, physicality-wise, and I was a good wrestler. I was always good, you know, fighting guys on the inside. Canelo was extremely well balanced.
Chris took it a step further by pointing out that while Crawford will definitely try to hurt Canelo as much as possible, he doesn't think it'll work. He believes Canelo's strong chin will be very tough for Crawford to break through. Chris also mentioned how important the weight difference is, saying that fighting at 168 pounds for the first time won't be easy for Crawford at all.
Yes, but I think he's going to, and Bivol alluded to this, I think he's going to have to hurt Canelo or make him think twice about something, and I'm just not sure he can do that.
That's what I mean. That's like, come on, the guy's fighting at 168 for the very first time. Canelo has a granite chin, one of the all-time best chins ever.
Yeah.
From riding horses, according to Jim Lampley, is getting on the saddle of those horses. Somehow connects to your chin.
That strong base. He's got the strong
no,
base.
No, it does. I can see the correlation there. But
the chin doesn't matter. Listen, if you get touched on that button and this thing goes away, it doesn't matter how strong your legs are.
I said this once, I'll say it again. If Crawford staggers Canelo early.
On the other hand, Shakur Stevenson, another elite fighter and current champion, does not believe in this opinion. He actually believed Crawford could beat Canelo way back in 2021 after Bud stopped Sean Porter. According to Stevenson, that performance was what convinced him Crawford could hang with the big boys. What stood out to him was Crawford's switch hitting, his ability to fight both orthodox and southpaw, something that could give Canelo major problems.
I ain't gonna lie, I've been putting it out since, I want to say, when he fought Sean Porter. Like back then, if you go watch, it's an interview out there. I had said I think that Terence Crawford would beat Canelo Alvarez right after he fought Sean Porter. So the idea, I've been thinking about it. I've been saying it before Bud even was saying it. That weight class, Terence Crawford is like the greatest. So I just feel as though with Canelo's style and like the style of boxing that he got, I think and this is before Bivol did it, but I thought like Terence Crawford was the only guy who I felt as though could have beat Canelo with his style.
Stevenson pointed out that Canelo has struggled with southpaws before, referencing Canelo's fight with John Ryder as an example. In that fight, Canelo seemed less comfortable, and Stevenson believes that Crawford, if he fights out of the southpaw stance, could exploit that weakness even more.
I think Bud is a southpaw. I think that's the part that kind of that's underestimated about the fight. I think him being a southpaw makes it a little harder for Canelo. I think Canelo has some type of trouble with southpaw when I watched him fight John Ryder.
Yep.
John Ryder, and John Ryder wasn't that good. It's just Canelo was fighting against the southpaw, and it made it a little bit harder than usual. But with the Madrimov fight, I just felt like Madrimov is a good fighter, and stylistically, he's a lot different than Canelo.
Another respected voice in the boxing world, Dimitri Bivol, also gave his take. He knows what it's like to fight Canelo, having beaten him before, and he praised Crawford's overall skill set. Bivol described him as one of his favorite fighters and said that Crawford has what it takes to win, but he'll have to deal with more than just Canelo's side.
I saw him. He's big, and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight, but there is a lot of but, and even not but. There is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168. Because it's different, big difference, to be honest. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be.
The key, according to Bivol, is not just about getting used to the power, it's about being mentally prepared. Fighters moving up in weight sometimes lose confidence, but Bivol believes if Crawford is mentally ready to take the shots and stay strong under pressure, he has a real shot at pulling off the win.
Yeah, you know, with it's not about only getting used to the power, and it's also about be mentally ready, because when people are not prepared them mentally, they like afraid or scared, you become weak, your body become weak, you know, when something happened and it's something new and you wasn't ready for this. We all know these feelings, like the body become melting, like just soft, you know, and
that mental edge, Bivol added, could be more important than any weight difference. In his opinion, when Canelo dominates smaller opponents, it's not always because they're physically smaller, it's because they come in already beaten in their heads. That's not likely to happen with someone like Crawford, who has proven time and again that he thrives under pressure and has one of the toughest mindsets in the sport.
Mentality is very important also for this fight. Even his one weight class or two weight class lower, if he's mentally ready, he will be ready to get these punches and be okay with this. He could be good.
Bill Haney also shared his thoughts in an interesting way. He expressed how excited he is to see what he called one of the biggest fights in boxing history. While giving Crawford credit for stepping up and taking on such a huge challenge, he also pointed out the risk that comes with moving up in weight. According to him, the gap between weight classes is something that shouldn't be ignored, and he sees it as a real concern going into the fight.
Canelo Crawford, what's your breakdown of the fight?
Huh?
Canelo against Crawford, what's your breakdown?
Man, when you talking about these big fights, you whispering. You said Canelo and Crawford?
Yeah.
Man, come on, man, that's the biggest fight, you know what I mean, in boxing right now. Canelo and Crawford. Crawford stepping up. Man, it's so big, you got Muhammad over there saying something about it. That's how big it is. He came off the bench from the 60s, right, Muhammad? You go back in the 60s? Yeah, well, listen. Canelo is big. And shout out to Crawford stepping up. But does Crawford have to be worried about more things than just boxing? Absolutely. Let's go. I didn't say he has to do any accusing, nor we would do that, but I'm saying is...
Former world champion Kelly Pavlik also weighed in, offering an interesting observation. He said that despite what most people think, Crawford is actually close to Canelo's size right now. The idea that Canelo is some huge middleweight and Crawford is the small guy might not hold up this time, especially after seeing how big Crawford looks in camp.
Canelo is a small middleweight, super middleweight. He just is. But he's also showed that he could go up in weight class, and he's a great fighter. I mean, that's it. Crawford is so talented. He's got so much ability in boxing, his boxing ability. And he's a bigger guy too. He's almost every bit as big as Canelo, right?
However, Pavlik did mention that Canelo has way more experience fighting naturally bigger guys, even ones who were cutting down from 200 pounds. That's something Crawford has never done. While Pavlik thinks this could give Canelo a slight advantage, he also admitted it's hard to pick a clear winner because of how talented Crawford is.
So that's what makes it tough. Like, yeah, Canelo's used to fighting guys coming down from 200 probably, you know, at light heavyweight, and Crawford ain't. But it's just too hard to pick on that because of Crawford's ability and boxing skills. I'm not going off of Canelo's last fight. You know, the guy he was fighting was in survival mode pretty much. He was just fighting not to get knocked out. When you fight a guy like that, you're not going to look good, right? I don't care what anybody says.
Pavlik referred to the Bivol fight again, saying that when Canelo is forced to fight hard for many rounds, his output tends to drop, especially in the second half of the fight. That might be Crawford's opportunity to step on the gas and take control if he can weather the early rounds.
His reaction time, his natural abilities, his hand speed, that jab switching from southpaw to orthodox. I wouldn't stay in one stance long enough for Canelo to figure out. That's going to be a huge thing. Now, on another part of that is stay in Canelo's ass a little early on. Put Canelo behind, right? Even if it's 3 out of the first 4 rounds. Because when Canelo has to fight, okay, when Canelo has to step it up, after 7 rounds, he starts to fade a little bit. We've seen that with Bivol. We've seen it in a lot of his fights with Triple G. You know, when Canelo could control the fight, in the ring generalship, like, yeah, he could fight 12 rounds pretty good. But when Canelo gets pushed early on in the fight, he starts to fade muscle endurance wise. So
all in all, the build up to this fight has everything: star power, legacy on the line, technical matchups, and a whole lot of questions. Can Crawford's skill, speed, and now increased size be enough to overcome the power and experience of Canelo at 168? Will Canelo handle Crawford's unorthodox style and quick switches in stance? And can Crawford continue to shock the world like he did against Spence, Porter, and others? Only this time against one of the greatest names of this generation.
Saw Canelo's fight against William School, you know, his last fight. It wasn't a good fight, man. You've seen that he doesn't have the fastball anymore. He doesn't have well, he's never had fast feet, but at least he's not cutting off the ring like he used to. Yeah. And the explosiveness in his combinations and his half speed, it wasn't there either because there was nothing to hit. So can you imagine a Bud Crawford who's nowhere near a William School? School just ran. He didn't try to win that fight. Bud's going to try to win the fight. He's going to have the footwork. He's going to have the hand speed. He's going to have, you know, maybe not the power of Canelo, but he's going to have respectable pop in that punch coming from both stances, mind you, the left-handed and the right-handed stance. And I just think ultimately Crawford just is a mean mofo. This dude mean. Yeah. I mean, I met Bud a couple of times, you know.
Whether it's mental toughness, body transformation, or raw skill, one thing is clear: Crawford is coming to win, not just show up. He's changed his body, sharpened his tools, and tuned out the doubters. And Canelo? He's still the man to beat. This might just be one of the most unpredictable, exciting matchups boxing fans have seen in years. And from the looks of things, it's shaping up to be a fight no one will forget. If you're hyped for this fight too, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Ring Rivalry for all the latest updates, breakdowns, and fight coverage.